Welcome to Our Life. Today on Our Life, it's all about social media. Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, the like sign, the heart, the angry sign. But before we go deeper into social media that has taken over our world today, we're going to give you a removing the mask fact on what is considered the first wave of social media. So for the removing the mask fact, KDKA was the first radio station to get federal licensing for broadcasting, and this was in 1920. As of 1922, you had 600 more radio stations that came aboard and got the federal license for broadcasting. So when I return, we're going to have my first guest with me, and we're going to dig deep into the first source of social media, which was radio. So we'll be right back.
Hello, hello, hello. I just stopped by to remind you of how fabulous you are, how wonderful you are, how God made you to do wonderful and miraculous things in the world.
We're back, and I'm here now with you want me to call you Brandon or B-Dub?
B-Dub.
Oh, God. We're here with Mr. B-Dub from GMT Radio. How are you today?
I'm great.
Thank you for being here with me.
I thank you for having me.
I want to kick off. Tell us a little bit about GMT.
GMT is it stands for Get Music Tracks, and pretty much we broadcast any and everywhere. Me personally, my show, we broadcast in Central America.
Okay.
I got family in Belize, and they put people onto the show, and Canada, Germany, all around the U.S., Detroit, Houston, Dallas. It's just pretty much anywhere anybody has internet, we can broadcast to.
What inspires you to do radio?
Honestly, I was told I had the voice for it and the personality.
You just went with it.
Yeah, and it all came out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't supposed to be doing radio at all, but it just kind of popped in my lap and I started doing it.
So you did hear my opening, which to me, radio was the first wave to me of social media.
Most definitely.
You know, because if you had a radio in your house, you were balling if you had a radio in your house. So today I look at, because radios back then probably was $10, and to people that was expensive. But I look at now, do you think radio has taken a back seat? Because social media now plays a very big part in society.
Most
in this
definitely.
world.
Most definitely. I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand because you can get news off social media, but it's different when you hear somebody on the radio actually go into detail about everything. On social media, nobody wants to read.
And it's not half the time it's not the correct news,
Exactly.
but we'll talk about that
Exactly.
with my parents.
So when you get social media news, it's more quick. You want to read a caption that's a couple words. You don't really want to go through a whole paragraph. Whereas in you listening to the radio and it's just like your hands are free. You don't really you could just be listening with your ears and you get a chance to hear somebody else's view on it, and then you actually listen instead of reading. You know, most people, our attention span is not that long.
Yeah, they real short.
6 seconds.
Real short. Podcasts have come into the world now.
Majorly.
Majorly, along with social media as well. We're going to talk about that with my social media panel also. Where do you think podcasts fits into all of this as well?
I feel like podcasts, that's when somebody can go really more in depth with the topic. When you listen to somebody's podcast, you're listening specifically for them. Whereas on the radio, you want to hear music along with it. On podcasts, you don't necessarily hear any music. It's just more, okay, this is what we're talking about, and that's what I'm talking about for an hour. So when you listen to a podcast, you're listening for something specific rather than just hearing what's going on.
So do you think radio will eventually one day be extinct? No more?
Not at all. Not at all, because
with the way social media has taken.
Like I said, with them going hand in hand, as big as social media can get, which we've seen social media. Like social media now is obviously the biggest it's ever been, and
It is.
radio is. I feel like it's going right along with it, just because, like I said, when you listen to the radio, it's more of a homey feel rather than just going scrolling on social media, because like with our attention spans being so small, when you scrolling and you see news, it's almost kind of like, all right, well, let me get to something funny, or let me get to something basketball related, sports related. It's never just, okay, I'm going to social. Nobody goes to social media for news. Like that's
No.
is that a thing?
No,
Is somebody?
no, I don't.
Cause I'm saying I don't want to. Yeah, I don't
Because
follow
when I
people for
see
news.
something on social media that's supposed to be news, I normally go to CNN or TMZ to
Exactly.
make sure it's accurate. Because half the time it's not going to be accurate, or it's going to be old news. The person, they just put the person died yesterday, and the person been dead about 10 years ago. So yeah, no, I don't. Radio to you is,
This is, I want to say life, but
but
we got. I mean, radio to me is the best thing that ever happened to me personally, because I'm able to get my voice out there to people that necessarily, like, even on social media. I don't want to sit there and talk on social media for an hour, or I do the podcast, but like I said, in podcast it's more in depth. So with radio, it kind of gives me a broader horizon to do and talk about whatever I necessarily need to.
well, I'm gonna have you help me bring in my social media panel before we
Okay,
go
that's
to break.
cool.
So I did give you some questions,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have pros and cons of social media. So I think you have the pros.
I do.
So read me what they claim the pros of social media.
Well, it says they find it helps, get in touch with your family and all that stuff, which I would say that's one thing I do believe in social media. Like, because like I said, I have family that stay in Belize, so it's like I'm not gonna spend that money on the phone.
I agree with
that.
that one, but give me, I think it's one or two more on there.
Finds help for social problems, which, and you get a chance for somebody to listen to you. For people that don't necessarily do radio or podcasts, they can just upload a minute video of them talking about something, and five people at least gonna see it.
I don't agree with those two, and we'll go into that with the social media panel, but I don't agree with those two. I think, to me, on that list of pros, to keep in touch with family, old classmates, it's a good source for that. But I'm gonna give you my cons, and per this, kids spend 7.5 hours on social media.
I believe
It's
it.
like a job. And then adults, we're like 11 hours a day on social media, and we lose face-to-face interaction.
That's true.
Very much so. So I want to thank you for being here with me for the first segment, talking about radio, because to me, radio was really the first social media before television.
Okay. Can I ask you a question real quick? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I interview too.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you think social media is gonna take over radio? Like, do you think radio will ever die off?
I would hope it wouldn't die out, but in this day and time, we all listen to radio when we're in the car. We listen to Spotify. We listen to give me another one.
Tidal.
Yeah, and all.
Buy black. We buy black.
I hope it wouldn't die out, but social media plays a very big part in the world today. I've always said when they developed the internet, I always said that was the devil. Because it's some things on the internet that should not be on the internet, and it's a lot of things that I'm going to discuss with a panel for social media that should not be on social media. So it plays a very large part.
It does.
To me. I hope radio doesn't disappear.
That would be on it.
Because that's where you would get to me, that's a source where you would get the real news versus one of our social media outlets. You have another question for me? Because I'm just here.
I just wanted to know, I feel like you have a strong connection with radio because you speak so highly of it. what was the first like radio show that you listened to that was like, oh, I like this? Or what was the most memorable for you?
I'm from Louisiana, so I don't think I listened to radio in Louisiana. I listened to it, but
You didn't pay attention to it.
I clubbed a lot.
Okay, I see that. The shoes told me that.
It's almost time. It's almost time. I clubbed a lot, so I don't think I really paid attention too much to radio when I lived in Louisiana. When I moved here, I would listen to 97.9 a lot. Now, because I've gotten older.
Old Times on the Morning Show? You know about Time Joe in the morning. You know about Time Joe in the morning show.
I do listen to 102 more than anything. I do listen to a lot of gospel. I don't know how much it helps me because sometimes I just backslide. Right. But no, I listen to 102 more than anything. And when I'm at work, I like to listen to CNN.
Okay.
A lot. I like to listen to stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
But they have all. I was interested because they have all kind of different radio like avenues. You know, they have sports radio and.
I'm not into sports.
That's my expertise. So that's.
You do sports on your.
That's all. I talk about from music to sports to social media to pretty much anything that's going on. Because with me being 25. I have the younger generation looking up to me, but I also have the older generation respecting me because I'm so wise and beyond my years, or so they say. So you said it too when you looked at me. I know it's okay. It's all right.
Okay. His segment is ending. I want to thank you again, Mr. B-Dub, for coming.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And sitting down with me and talking about radio. We're going to be right back with our social media panel so we can get deeper into social media and see how it plays a very big role in today's society. So we'll be right back. Hello everybody, we're back now with my awesome panel. So I'm gonna introduce each of them, but I'm gonna have like separate little talks with each of them about their businesses. So sitting right next to me is Mr. Gary. This is the guru of Spirit Podcast. This is the guru of Spirit Podcast. So we'll definitely be chopping up with him because podcast has taken over the world. We have Ms. Nisha. Now, this is the guru of social media. She's going to be talking to us about how to bring up your numbers and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be definitely sitting in and talking with her more about social media. We have Miss Pam. I did not know she joked so much. But this is the CEO of River and Word magazine. So we'll definitely be talking with her. And then we got my youngster. Miss Sherelle at the end. She's been with me before on our teen pregnancy and peer pressure show, and she's back again, and she's going to give us a look into social media from a 18-year-old perspective. So that should be interesting. So I'm going to kick it off with my jokester here, Miss Pam from River and Word. So we're going to talk a little bit about River and Word. Tell us who or what inspired you to teach yourself, because you taught yourself in different fields, because you not only are the CEO of River and Word magazine, you do praise dance, and you do a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Okay, River and Word, first of all, is a digital magazine. The platform was created because I was laid off, first of all. I'm an educator. I taught for like over 30-some years, and I got laid off and couldn't find a job. So I was like, okay, prayer time, like, God, what do I do? And I mean, just out, like I could hear you audibly, God just spoke and said online ministry. And I was like, online ministry? I'm not no ordained minister or anything. But so he just said that I would be international, I'll be ministering international. And finally he spoke magazine. I'm like, okay, but what do I do with that? And from that point, he said, "You're a writer. What's in your hand?" I said, "Yeah, I write." And I put 2 books out on the market. And then the magazine was created. My daughters and I started the magazine together and at a roundwood table, actually. And from the magazine, it went into promoting, supporting, and connecting recording artists, authors, entrepreneurs, and that's what I do mostly is support them and get them out there through the magazine, through other media sources, get them connected to higher sources so they can go further and advance their career. And I also started an online with Shopify, the River Store. And from that, we're moving on to radio, TV. More of those doors have opened up and award events. So that's what's going on.
I'm going to get back to that. So we're going to press pause on that before we end. I'm going to move on to my little youngster down there. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How often are you on social media?
Oh, well,
Be honest.
I spend quite a bit of my time on social media, mostly because I do have a business page on there, so I am growing my audience to be able to get to know more of the people that I want to cater to, mostly females, young adults. And so I spend I can spend 3 hours straight on social media.
Tell us a little bit about your business page.
So my business page is all about motivation and inspiration and encouragement through entertainment, as well as teachable moments to be able to help young women and young ladies to be able to grow and to be confident in who they are.
Okay, I'm not even going to answer the other question because you done kind of told us a little bit. I'm going to move on to Miss Nisha. Miss Nisha. You are the CEO of Bossed Up Media.
Yes.
Tell us about Bossed Up Media.
Bossed Up Media is a social media agency. So I help entrepreneurs become more visible and get more engagement on social media.
How did you get involved in social media?
That's a
Or
good
why?
question. That's a good question. So I was doing affiliate marketing. I was one of the top affiliates, still am, of a technology company in Canada. And so I was networking and working with small business owners and entrepreneurs every single day. And then I have several friends that have their own businesses. And I just noticed that they all had the same problems. It didn't matter how many years of experience they had or how long they've been doing it, how great they were, any of that. They just had problems like with social media, like with their presence, their online presence and engagement, and lacking on their business page. And that just inspired me to start my business and help them.
Give me at least 2 tips that you can give us with boosting our personal social media numbers. At least 2.
Okay, at least 2. Okay, which platforms? Facebook,
Whatever you want to choose.
Okay, great. So I hear a lot of people complaining about Facebook, and they did change their algorithm. 2018 is really bad. So as far as like boosting your numbers, boosting your engagement on your posts, then of course adding friends, but not just anybody. Adding targeted friends, like-minded friends, and you want to add your target audience, depending on your business. You have to have at least like 3,000 friends to really get some good engagement, good comments, likes, that kind of thing. And don't post back to back, leave hours in between, and if you have a really good post, let it ride out, before you post again. As far as like a business page, one of the best tips I can give is, to boost your exposure is to do some kind of a contest or a giveaway where you encourage your fans, right, to like, comment, and share the post.
And what I see, because I don't do it often, but I get fussed at for not doing it, the live videos, people actually like that. Because when I do when I just get on there and talk about, I don't just talk about anything, but I, try to make it have some, they actually like that.
They love that, yes.
I had my house coat on yesterday, and I got on there and I said, well, I'm about to get some rest. I looked a mess.
It does, man.
And they actually watched that.
It's that
That's great.
connection.
I was watching. It is.
I-
It is.
okay.
And this year is the year of video marketing.
Don't
They
say-
over 80% of internet traffic is going to be video. We all need to do more video.
I'm going to press pause on you because I know my editor is listening, and he's going to make me do more of that. So I'm going to move on. And last but definitely not least, Mr. Gary, the CEO of Spear Podcast that has taken over Houston, Texas.
We're just having fun out here. That's all we're doing.
You have not, because I got some friends that do a show,
Yeah.
a couple of shows with you.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah, send more
is.
friends.
It is. What inspired you to get into technology?
That's a great question. I would have to say my father.
Really?
Yeah, I've been in technology. I've been in IT for over 20 years, and he raised me from an infant to know technology. I used to tear apart computers and build computers, and then growing into, I'm talking Windows from the hard disk days, you know, Windows 3.1 through Windows 95 when CDs first came around. So like I've been in technology for a very long time. And then I was in AV in my ministry at church.
Okay.
So, you know, taking over a decade of AV knowledge and then taking 20 years of IT, I was able to build something that I thought would, you know, take away the stigma and the stereotypes of African Americans in the media. I wanted a network that really showcased the excellence that we brought about. And I didn't see that day to day. So I got with individuals, I got with my friends and said, hey, you're an expert in technology. Come join us. Let's build a show called Technocrats. You're an attorney. Let's build a show called Injustice. And we built, you know, 7 shows from jump out of the library of my home. You know, building a full-fledged studio with multi-camera shots, lighting, miking, and with the mindset of video first, because you mentioned how big and how important video is, and we talked about social media and how many hours are spent. A lot of those hours now are people consuming video, not just reading or listening. So I built it with the end in mind, and I said, okay, well, let's do this, and it just continued to expand. So, you know, this was 2016 when I built the Sphere Podcast Network. And I had people tearing up my carpet, you know, tearing up my sofa, and people I didn't know because, you know, these shows are inviting guests.
Yeah.
So I'm up, you know, late night wearing all the hats and producing content and posting and publishing. And 6 shows, 7 shows turned into 12 shows. And then the guests start saying, hey, we want our own show. And I'm like, it's just me. I don't have the opportunity. I don't have the time to build, you know, another studio. I can't run them both. So it made me uncomfortable. And when uncomfortability happens, that's usually what change is. And where change is, there's growth. So we grew. And that's why we built the Sphere Podcast Studios, which now we record content for just about 50 shows here in Houston. And we also manage podcasts for people all over the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to clap.
Yeah,
Me too.
I told y'all he's the guru.
We have fun. That's my thing.
I told y'all. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to really dip into social media, different pages, what is post, what shouldn't be post, all of that good stuff. So we'll be right back. We are back. Now, you know, I think I removed a mask on the first segment with B Dove. I don't forget what we talked about. He's still here. I can't put him out the station, but he's still with us. But I'm going to be a little messy while we go into social media. My messy spirit, and probably a little petty. My editor probably say I'm a little petty. But we're going to have a little messy spirit right now. So, you know, over this past week, social media has been on fire with these memes and all. So I just, see, that's why.
She got you together.
Yeah,
Perfect panel.
Yeah. So it's been on fire because we had Jesse Smollett, we had R. Kelly, and we had Robert, I can't think of his last name, but the owner of the Patriots. Oh, thank you. Thank you, B-Dub Craft. Social media made some money this week with these 3. What do y'all think?
There's a lot of L's being passed around. There's a lot of L's happening. But, you know, if you sow a seed that, you know, brings this about, these are the consequences. You have to understand what you're walking into. And, you know, at any human has the ability to be taken down at any point, regardless of how high you get. And I think that we are literally seeing that from this first stage perspective. We're literally right here watching this, and we've seen the growth of these titans in their industries, and we're seeing the fall of them.
Because with social media, back in the day, we didn't have all this. Now it's so easy to pick up your phone. So what would you say are some pros and cons? What would you guys say of social media? Because I gave some, me and B-Dub gave some out. I don't agree with the pros because I'm not gonna go to social media to look to talk to somebody. And I think the other one was to get help with my problems. I'm not gonna go to any social media outlet for that.
I think.
So,
Well, okay, so when you're saying that you wouldn't go to someone online, I think that depends on the generation that you're born in or where you're coming from, because for me, as the younger generation, the internet is where we feel a little more comfortable, because talking to our parents is going to be
I'ma
a
tell
little
your mama.
uncomfortable. Oh, but I mean, I have a good relationship with my mom, so I'm able to talk to her. But a lot of the kids these days, they feel more comfortable being able to go online and talk to someone, a stranger even, just to be able to have that connection. And that's why it is a con, because you don't know who you're talking about, but at the same time, it is a pro because there are really good people like myself on the internet trying to help and encourage people.
you better do it.
Pretty wise.
Anybody else want, before I go to the next question, anybody else?
For me, the pros and cons. The pros have been, it has helped my magazine grow, especially with the video, with Instagram. I went from 6.2K to 54 in a week's time, just because I started doing a lot of promo videos for my clients, even for myself. And so that's been the pro, but the con of it is the e-community is making more separation and division with individuals communicating. And I'm finding it harder for people to talk in person versus the social media. They want to talk all over social media, but when you're in person, it's like there's no conversation. It's like this. Yeah. It's like, I'm over here, you know. So that's the con part for me. And then, like you said, I'm personable. I'm private, even though I joke and have fun. But when it comes down to it, I don't want my business all over social media.
Press pause on that, because we gonna get to
We're gonna get to that one.
I have one more
we
con.
gonna get to that. Is there a positive and negative? Is the positive and negative equal with social media sites, on social media sites?
When you say positive and negatives, are they equal? You talking about in regards to the different sites, or?
Yeah, to the different sites. I think.
I mean, it depends on how you use the site, right?
Yeah.
LinkedIn is used for business use, right?
Exactly.
So that could be a very big pro. I don't see a lot of cons from a LinkedIn perspective, because literally people are building wealth from this social media. Same for those who market across Instagram or Facebook. And whereas, something like Snapchat, is on its last leg. So it's falling by the wayside.
Yeah.
So you're seeing people flee away from it, and your content could be wasted there. So that could be considered a con, depending on how often you use Snapchat versus the behemoths like Facebook or Instagram. So I think there's a lot of things to take into account as far as are they the positive and negatives equal across the platform.
Okay. Is there one social media platform that you guys consider that would be better?
Instagram.
Instagram.
A lot of people use Instagram.
It's the big
Yes.
new one. I mean, it's been
One
around,
that
but
people don't even think about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use Pinterest, and when I try to look at hairstyles, it's always on Pinterest, and I gotta sign up for something.
I know.
So you can go
Yeah.
viral for years.
And I have Twitter. The show has a Twitter page, but we really don't use it.
Yeah,
Twitter is.
it depends.
We
Yeah.
don't use it.
I think Instagram is obviously one of the most popular, but
Yeah.
Facebook was smart by purchasing
They did,
Instagram.
exactly.
And for
They own
$3
it now.
billion,
Yeah.
and where now its estimated value is over 50 billion. So
know that.
yeah, so
That's
Facebook
good.
owns
They purchased
Instagram.
it.
Yeah.
So
wow.
they're
Yes, they go
okay
on
with
YouTube.
people migrating away from Facebook as long as they're migrating to Instagram, and it
And
continues to grow.
it's a lot of people. on
Facebook's in trouble anyway.
So we're about to get to that. What would each of you say are major do's and don'ts for social media users? I'm gonna say more of don'ts. Forget the do's, more of don'ts.
Don't compare yourself to other people on social media. That's my biggest message, is don't compare yourself, because you have a different lifestyle from someone else, from these celebrities or from these Instagram models or Facebook big platforms. You don't have the same life as them. So don't just compare yourself like, oh, I want to be like that. That's the biggest don't for social media that I would say.
But I think that's kind of hard, because a lot of people are not mature enough, have low self-esteem issues, are dealing with stuff in their home life, their personal world,
Yeah.
that they look at stuff that's being written on social media. And they're going to go with it regardless, I think, unfortunately.
As well as like taking a balance, taking a step back from social media, because social media is not life. You can portray a life, it's just a highlight reel. That's all social media is. And so taking a step back to like put social media away for like a week, like for me, I have to do that. I have to take a step back from social media sometimes. Like Sundays, I may just not be on there just to spend time with my family, so I can have that personal interaction with real people and to actually live.
Yeah, I second that. Because I'll take time off, but I will post. Guys, I'm fasting. I'm not gonna don't call me. I'm not gonna post. So I've got 3 days of just calm down, music going, gather myself, because I feel like social media is almost like a new crack. You know, if you're on it too much,
Not
you
an
can
old
get
crack.
addicted.
A new crack.
A new crack. Yeah, because some people are so, they get shaky because they gotta get social media. Well, that's a problem. You know, it shouldn't be that intense.
Quite addicted.
So you need to pull off and relax.
So do you guys think social media is a positive tool for teens? I want this to come from me right here.
I have 2 teens, and it's like they just no. I don't think it's, I mean, with anything, I guess you can use it for positive or you can use it, it's however you use it. But it just seems like the generation, they just think they have to capture everything. So on Snapchat.
So with you having teens, with you having teens, what would you say is the proper age that you should stop guarding them on stuff they do on social media?
Stop guarding them or
Watching what they do.
I don't know. I think once you're a mama, you're always a mama. Like, I'm always going to watch.
Yeah.
I'm always one of your followers.
I
I have 2 college girls, so I have to second that. I still want to know what are you doing on social media. And I have a 25-year-old and a 20-year-old, and they're both college girls, adults, literally, but I'm still mama, and I'm still helping them.
But you do know they can make up a whole different page that you don't know about.
Yeah, they did that to me, too. And I look. Oh, my God. So I'm like, where are they? I want to keep an eye on what they're doing.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Do you guys feel that most people live through other people's social media pages?
Of course.
Yes.
Because they're not
Yes.
happy, they want to see
Yes.
other people doing bad.
Celebrities or whoever.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are so influenced by what they see,
Yes.
what they hear. And people, there's a mob mentality, right? And a social proof says that if you can convince several people to do it, those people will inadvertently convince everyone else to do that same thing. So people follow by instinct. It's just a part of nature. And you see this control heavily. And the moment Kylie posts something, or someone else posts something, whatever that was, now there's an increase in sales, there's an increase in discussion.
Yes.
And from a business perspective, it's great, but from a social perspective, I think we've got something we need to take a look at.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a big issue.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to celebrities, they're just like everybody else.
Yes.
Yep.
Quiet is kept. They're just like everybody else. The only thing different is they're in a different financial bracket than the regular average Joe. So they go through stuff just like we go through stuff. They make as we saw this week, they make stupid mistakes.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So what's the take on, since Facebook created Facebook Live, and you can do it on Instagram.
Watch party.
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't done
I'm
that
so
yet.
sick of watch
Watch
parties.
party's a moneymaker.
It is.
Please explain that to me before I get to this question. Is it still just a live feed
No, you can actually play a pre-recorded video.
on
But it's almost like you're playing a movie for your audience.
No, okay. Because
Pre-recorded
I'm
video,
not
or
that.
you can add
I'm
a few of
technical, but not that into. And I'm not
at
on
first it
social
was
media
just-
all the time. When I'm on it, it's because of the show stuff, pretty much. And I try not to be on it then. But with all these people on Facebook Live, venting, giving advice, all these major points they're throwing out, and 50% of the information is wrong.
Yeah. it's a lot of fake news,
A lot.
Yes.
a lot of alternative
Right.
facts
Yeah.
being put out on social media.
People just share it, and they don't even check it for themselves.
Exactly.
Just share it, just post it.
Or a lot of them feel that they're psychologists and don't have a degree.
Yes.
I said that.
Yeah, you
That part.
You said that, and it's true.
And I think the live is great, though. I mean, we, over at the Sphere, we use live for most of our podcasters.
Yeah,
They
you cut
either-
me off for one of yours one time.
I'm not sure if we did that.
You did that.
We have to have a conversation off mic about that.
Uh-oh.
I'd love
He
to.
should just shut that down.
What I like about him is when he starts one of the shows at Spear, you'll only get to see a little bit of it,
Exactly.
and you have to subscribe.
You gotta get the
Playing
rest
with
of it.
Right.
I'm playing with him when I say he cut me off because you have to subscribe in order to see the entire show.
Yeah.
So I like
Awesome.
that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
there
That's
there
good
has to be a
marketing.
call to action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
From
it.
a marketing perspective, you can't give it all. You can't give all the cookies away.
Yeah.
Our moms taught us that we don't give it all away. So yeah, we give you the first 15 minutes of a show, but you've got to subscribe to get the rest of that.
That's awesome.
Bait.
I think a lot of people shouldn't be on Facebook giving all this advice and this psychology and all of that. I really don't.
Too opinionated.
Because it's a lot of weak people
A lot.
that listens to
Anything.
anything.
Yes.
And on social media, half the time the news is not correct. So I don't, and they jump on they're also easily to jump on the bandwagon
Oh, Lord,
on
yes.
things. What do y'all think on that? Because I don't care what color you are. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I need to see the proof. Just because I'm Afro-American and you're Afro-American and you get into trouble, I don't care, may you be famous or not, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not fixing to protest with you.
Yes.
Because if you did it, you need to serve whatever time you're going to get. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with you. But a lot of people do that. And that was the thing with Jesse. All these people that jumped on the bandwagon,
Yeah.
and now nobody's talking.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think?
That was the first thing I said. I said, why is everybody jumping on this to protect and support him when you don't have any facts? You have no knowledge. So you're going to end up making yourself look bad. And what if you have a business out there? Then that's associated because you stepped in that arena with him. And now everything's coming out. And all the yay cheerleaders, they have backed up. Nobody's protecting and
not
supporting.
just with celebrities, even here in Houston, when something goes wrong, we have a tendency to get on social media
Yes.
because that's everything in the world. Right? We get on social media, we post this, post that, we jump on the bandwagon, and we don't know the story.
Right.
Yep.
Only half the story's been told, like the Bible says.
Yeah, I just, do you guys think we could ever go back to a world without social media?
No.
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 No, not at all.
Not at this
There's
point.
more and more platforms.
Yeah.
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 mean-
Everything's gone that way.
I need somebody to say yes.
No.
I mean, the world is more interconnected than it's
Yeah.
ever been, right? You can have a conversation with someone in Alaska at the same time having a conversation with someone in Australia.
Yeah.
Let alone down the street. So I think that there's been great benefits from social media, and being able to share the realities of people across the world. We know what's going on in parts of Africa. We know what's going on in parts of Europe
In real
time. And we've never been able to have that type of connection before. And as long as we're using it for good, we're being positive with that information, I think it's beneficial for the whole world.
Yeah.
The problem is those that do use it for ulterior motives. And that's something that's hard to control.
But how can we make it safer for young people, even for adults? Because women use social media platforms for dating.
I know it started. It started becoming a dating thing. I started getting hits for dates. I'm like, this not a dating platform.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to take out an ad in my magazine? Otherwise, no. So, but I think that like right now, Facebook put me in jail. We call it
Saw
Facebook jail.
that.
They won't let me share and like because I was sharing and liking a lot of stuff and it was too much.
yeah.
So they shut me.
Yeah.
They let
I didn't
me
know that.
post, but right now I can't like and share. And I told myself, are you kidding me? This is the worst time for you to shut me right now.
'Cause it's spammy.
But they let all the other stuff go out. So if they can shut me from liking and sharing, you can control some of the people that are out there doing the wrong type of social media. So shut them down. I'm doing positive.
Yeah, you will shut down.
Yeah, I was so upset.
They love engagement. They want us all to
Yeah,
engage with each other, but then
exactly.
you get- yeah.
So my whole point is, if you can shut me from liking and sharing too much, because that's what I was doing. I was just boom, 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 boom. I was hitting hard.
Was you doing
and
this every
they don't
day?
like you to hit hard for some reason anymore. I don't know.
Doing this every day?
Do what?
Was you doing this every day?
Yeah, I'm on there all the time because I'm doing it for my clients as well as for myself. So I'm constantly on there. Yeah, I'm almost around the clock. That's why I have to take time off. But
in jail.
yeah, because there's certain times a day that posts are the best time to get it out there and get better hits and get their music bought and the books sold and get platforms they're invited to. So I have to hit at certain times. So I'm hitting hard. And the more I grow with clients, the more I'm hitting. So Facebook didn't like that. But why don't you shut off like the people, the negative social media? Go put them in jail and shut them down. Oh, it's like I'm doing something positive.
For some reason, that benefits them
Yeah,
in some
it's
type
more
of way.
engagement.
That benefits.
Because if somebody puts something negative, you got 50 other people about to get on them, and then you just have that engagement. So that boosts up the account. So then
Especially with
it just-
politics.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Definitely
Yeah, because I
politics.
posted something. I think it was either 17 or 18, and I have a bad habit of saying that the government are little boys and little girls in suits. That yeah, I said it. They little boys and little girls in suits that play with our money and play with our time. That's what they are. They mamas pick them up for a recess and they go home, and we still at a shutdown. We don't have nothing, and they went home.
Yeah.
So I did say that, and this lady came back on me on Facebook. She lucky I was tired because I would have pulled up every picture from the White House, because I've been there, every picture from the U.S. Capitol, Library of Congress. I would have pulled all that up. Have you been to these places? Get off my feet. But
That's another thing. Internet gangsters.
yeah,
I love it.
Keyboard thugs.
Now, she told me I didn't know what I was talking about, and you lucky I was tired, because I would have pulled up every picture and said, have you been to these places to really know how the country should be running, and we're not running like that.
A lot of wickedness in
whatsoever.
high places.
Yeah, never at all. I try not to, and I notice this with a lot of, not just young, I can't blame that on you. I can't blame that on the youngsters. These old folks, they argue on Facebook.
Oh,
Yes.
They go back and they argue back and forth, and what about what? I don't do that.
Because you don't have to put your face out there. So if you behind a screen, you a whole lot more bolder to be able to just say whatever you want to say. Because you don't have to worry about them coming after you unless
You
they really
do because in this day and time, the way the world is, it's very easy for somebody to find you if they
Yes.
really want to find you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if they really want to.
Yes, indeed.
So I don't argue back and forth. I don't have that issue with nobody that I know of. But I don't argue back and forth with people like that. I don't put, when I leave or travel, I don't really, I might post that I'm traveling somewhere or something, but I don't put too many details. And a lot of people
Yeah.
put a lot of their personal information.
I know, a whole map to go find
On
you.
Facebook.
Or either go to your house because you're not home. I mean, it's crazy.
A lot of people tell it all.
The restaurant I'm at, the hotel I'm at, no, you don't put that kind of stuff out there.
A lot of
Something that like some people that I know they do is when they leave the place, like once they're back at home, then they'll post I was
Yes.
at this restaurant. So then you're not jeopardizing yourself while you're at home.
Yes. What is you have a award show coming up, right? For
Yes,
River. us
we
about
have
that.
the River Award dinner coming up on March 9th. And during that dinner is when we give out trophies, scholarships, and we're merging this year. This is our first merger year that we're merging with Newsom's, Newsom's Lupus Pageant. And so a lot of people are starting to merge. I've been preaching that for like a year, and then finally the people in my arena, their circle, they're starting to make mergers now, because I kept saying, y'all, we need to come together, build an empire. There are too many of us out there that have the gifts and the talents and whatever. So we need to cut some of those costs and come together. And so I made a merger and then for our dinner, and during that dinner we're going to have doing a fundraiser to raise awareness for lupus, as well as the River Award. We'll be giving out trophies and we give out scholarships to help sponsor independent independent individuals. Like last year, we gave out some scholarships, and Nikki Berry was one of our first recipients, and we gave her a marketing scholarship, and that just blew her up. She's now international multi-award winner, and we started off with her with her first CD, and those are the kind of things that we do. And so yes, we're going to have an award dinner coming up.
I'm glad you said that because I've met people over the years that wanted to partner with me and do things with me, and I'm leery of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because most people are not genuine, and they want to ride my tailcoat or whatever they think I got going on, and they want to come along for the ride.
Yeah. My suggestion is, as I did with myself, is you watch the fruit of the people that you're dealing with that want to come on. Because a lot of people talk to me about, hey, want to do this, want to do this. I had even people, Wall Street Corporation, wanted to get with the magazine and put money in it, but if I would do this, no. I'm not going to change my magazine for your dollars because God gave this to me to do, and He gave me the instructions on how He wanted it done. And there are different people that make their comments. Well, make your comments, but I'm going to keep it like it's going because it's working. So you don't fix it if it's not broken. And but later if I need to change it, I will. Prayer first.
And I'm leery about my Facebook page, my personal one.
Yeah.
Because I've had somebody, not gonna say no name, and and they were stealing people off my Facebook, but let me move on because they tell me to cut it off soon. What's up next for Bossed Up Media?
So I just launched my Pinterest for Profits course, just showing entrepreneurs how to use Pinterest for business.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's up for Ms. Spear? What's next on the horizon?
Big thing right now is managing content for shows that come in. So we handle their postings, we handle their uploads, we take care of building their repositories, and we decide to branch out and not just be local here to Houston, but now we're managing podcasts in Oklahoma, in DC, we've got people in London. So we're managing content for podcasters anywhere in the world. And now we're just letting that word be known so that people who want a podcast, hey, you can, have your content taken care of and you can focus on being the best host instead of worrying about all the technical back end.
Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for being here with me. Very good information that you provided. And we definitely have to do another social media. Because since you all are saying it's not leaving the world.
Do you have time enough for one comment?
If they allow me.
Where's the boss?
If they allow me, go ahead.
It's been on my mind ever since you talked to the radio guy.
Oh, God.
What was the radio station?
GMT.
GMT. Yes. One thing y'all had talked about was radio going to go away, and you were like, I hope it doesn't. Radio's not going anywhere. And one of the reasons why is because I work with artists, recording artists, and one of the biggest reasons why is because of the BDS, the Broadcasting Data System with Nielsen. They do all of the charting with the artists, and they do all of the monitoring and reporting and recording. And so internet is doing great. It's going to keep going up. Yay. But with the BDS, they only monitor. They don't chart internet. They only monitor and give a report.
Okay.
But so if an artist wants to get to the Stellar Grammy, they have to do radio, and that's not going away anytime soon.
You just made B-Dub happy.
Look at
That's all I know. But guys, they're telling me I have to wrap up. So I want to thank you all for coming. Even B-Dub in my first segment, thank you all for coming out, for talking about social media, taking the mask off of it a little bit, because I think there's a lot of other stuff with social media.
There's more.
Much
more.
We can definitely touch on, so we will definitely do the show again. If you need any information about any of the guests, contact Our Life TV Show at gmail.com, and we'll provide you any information on any of our guests. Until next time, always empower, encourage, and continue to remove your mask.